Hello, friends. Wow, I was totally amazed. It's the 2nd of January. I put up like 3 or 4 videos about Morgellons and certain things in my life. And man, I've had so many people response. And I kind of got freaked out too. Like one lady, Sharon's from Michigan. I knew who she was when I seen her on there. A really nice person, little L. I don't know if it's female or male. Sorry. Uh, man, they put so much information on there. There are things I've done. And what I've learned with this Morgellons, I've been actively fighting it since February. I'll be 2 years in February. You run into people at all different stages. People that are new, people that are 6 months fighting it, and they're excited. Man, you gotta use this, and you gotta use that. And the way it started out for me, I had this really bad itch. My wife kept going to good old Walgreens and Rite Aid and CVS. I think she bought some, anyways, Caladrill, like when you was a kid, or mosquito bites. I kid you not. We have over 40 different things I was using on my skin. Benadryl, I was eating them like, I don't know what. And I finally got the itch to go away. I found a way to get rid of it away temporarily, immediately, and that's the diatomaceous earth. I've heard a few of you mention it in the comments. I took it and rubbed it all over my belly, my back, any areas I was itching, and within 30, 60 seconds, it stopped. So I don't know about that. I tried diatomaceous earth, eating it, mixing up, drinking it, because it's supposed to remove toxic things out of your body. There's so many things I tried. There was a girl on named Tasha Lee. Some of you might know her. She's gone, okay? She says she left because of pride things with God, that it was making her out like to be a hero or something. But man, that girl had a lot of information. A lot of people going, man, she's a crazy whatever. But you need to find out, all these little tinctures and 20 different things. Rosemary, it just didn't set well with me. I was fortunate enough to find a guy that said he was healed. I was going to say his name, but I guess I don't really have to because we don't see each other that much anymore, or don't. He talked about the colloidal silver right off the bat. He said, buy a machine. I was taking some out of bottles, 20, 30 bucks a piece, and drinking like 2 or 4 ounces to be gone in a day. He says, man, you got the same stuff I got. I'm serious. You need, so he said, you're going to have to order and buy a machine. I bought a colloidal silver generator. It's got 2 pure silver rods that go into the water. You use distilled water. My wife does all this for me. That's why I'm so lucky. I know how to do it, but she insists on doing it, which is great. And I drank 4 ounces morning, 4 ounces at night. And this buddy, his first name's Wayne, he's from Toronto, Canada area. And man, we used that Facebook phone. I'd be laying there 7 o'clock in the morning. I said, that's old Wayne. I'd get on there. You got to remember, my mind was so out of reality. I couldn't add numbers. I couldn't remember names. He says, how you doing today, buddy? This and that. And I'd tell him about what I had coming out of my stools, eggs and all this. He goes, I said, did you ever have that? He goes, I don't know. I never looked at it. And he laughed. So I said, okay, you guys want to talk about that? Tasha Lee, she had videos on there of her poop. Of her menstruation periods, what this Morgellons was doing, what stuff was coming out of her. I watched it. He'd tell me, man, keep it simple. That's what I got to remember about this whole thing. I grabbed a hold of this silver. We got it. It works. As far as the filaments that are in us, or whatever they are, they're supposed to be self-assembling. I've had some people say, well, man, you ought to be grateful that your body's kicking it out. It means your body will not accept it. And I said, well, you guys keep saying everybody else has got it too. He goes, and they tell me, well, yeah, it's assimilating in their body. It's microscopic. Until I can get an editor and learn on here, I'm determined to do this. I've got pictures. Like right now, I'd like to click to the pictures and show you the pictures of something I ripped out of my chest. It looks like a web. And I mean, I cut it with an X-Acto knife. It hurt like hell. And I bled all over, and it's like it was a main frame, or it was more of the fibers, together like a rope is wrapped. This, I looked at it under, we bought a microscope. I used a handheld microscope. Then my son got a microscope. It was a $30-$40 microscope. It was a cheap one, but, you could hook your phone to it and do all that. And we looked at this stuff, and I mean, man, it's some spooky stuff. When I get the pictures, I'll show you. So be patient. It'd be easier for me to do these videos if I could show you stuff or get on a page and say, yeah, I had this symptom, that one. There's a page you go to talk about the symptoms. There's so many things I can talk about. But I also want to talk about what I had right from the get before I even had Morgellons. I don't know how long I had it. I just know when it turned on. I mean, it just, okay, I'm a disabled Vietnam era veteran, okay? I didn't kill anybody. I'm not one of them combat veterans or anything, but I still take pride in my service, okay? Anyways, I had a thriving business in 1999. The last year I worked, we had $118,000 go through our hands. We had the Detroit News. That was the year of Y2K, I think, whatever year that was. I was in landscaping, lawn care. We was in it all, man. Me and my sons, and we went down to Oakland County. It was like an hour drive. That's where the money's at, and that's where people wanted things done. So the Detroit News even took pictures of my wife and my youngest son at the time. I think he was like 6 or 7 or 8, unloading firewood from the back of a pickup truck. And they asked her a few things and bought, this and that. And, he was proud of that. We woke up the next day, man, and we had over 50, 60 phone calls, people from the whole state wanting firewood. We didn't do that. We were nice to them and told them, and, you might have to look locally or somewhere. We had things gauged out. Like if we went to a certain road that was 50 miles, it was 55 a quart. If we went down to Grosse Pointe in a city by Detroit, people would pay $100 if you stack it and bring any kind of a freak wood like apple, cherry. We had a lot of cherry wood. And oak was the #1 seller. But anyways, then I came home one night, got out of the truck, and I went right on my knees. My bowels quit working, it seemed like, in my urine. I had some serious stuff going on down there. Went in the hospital, a guy named Gerald Shell. He's one of the well-known Michigan back surgeons. Man, you got laminectomy. Okay. Had to have this surgery. You got to have it done. So, I think it was like it's supposed to be an hour surgery or something. They had to go in and do something. I woke up 13 hours later with metal rods in my back, L3, 4, and 5. And he says, man, I don't even know how you were walking. Your L4 was totally disintegrated. I'm like, disintegrated? Anyways, that was my very first surgery. That put me out of business. I couldn't walk. I said, man, I can't take the cold no more. We moved to Florida for about 2-3 years. My rods bent. They were hurting me. I had to come back to see my surgeon. We stayed here. Another back surgery. Well, I healed up out of that one. Then he wanted to do a BMP on me. That's some kind of a new surgery. I don't even know if they still do it. They break the bone off your hip, mix it with your plasma, and they use that to grow new bone. They did this. In the meantime, I wake up and I get osteomyelitis. I had such a bad swelling from the scars. I got like a foot-long scar on my back. It's not like they advertise now doing the little tiny stitches, and you look at, what I mean, invasive or whatever they call it. Thought I was going to die. I went home. One of my personal doctors, my wife called up and she said, you get him in an ambulance now and I'll meet you over in Bad Axe. She worked over in Saginaw, so she must have had a right to come to Bad Axe. I went to Bad Axe. They didn't have room for me, so they stuffed me in some room that was dark. And all of a sudden I hear, Mr. Dooley, how you feeling? It was a Russian lady, or Ukrainian, or whatever, really nice, kind doctor, but harsh. And she lifted me up, and there was blood. I was laying in my own blood. They had a dripping bag on me and stuff. And she went out there and started cussing. I want some nurses in here right now. What are you doing putting this man in this room? Did you see all? Has anybody checked on him? Blah, blah. Anyways, I ended up at home for 4 months in bed with a pick in my chest. We were running IVs to get rid of this osteomyelitis, if anybody knows about that. The reason I'm telling you this stuff, my main thing is going to be Morgellons for a while. I have other issues, chemtrails, veterans treatment. I don't like pedophiles. There's just a lot of things about millennials, about how they're having such a hard time making it. Okay. But anyways, that's one thing that happened. It took a long time to heal up. Then I had to have neck surgery. I was spinning. When I was done that surgery, my head was this big. My wife didn't know who I was, some kind of infection. She says, you know what? We're getting you out of this hospital. I don't want you around this doctor. Every time you're around him, you're getting infections here. Took me to another hospital, but before I went, she said, doctor, well, let me give you I want to give you something for pain. He gave it to me, pain, and I kid you not. Within 15 minutes, I felt like I was high, drunk. They put me in a hospital, another one right next to it, St. Mary's, I think, not St. Mary's, Covenant. And I was looking up, and there was bulbs and stuff. I was hallucinating. I think that's the very first time I've ever hallucinated. I could see faces like you would have gone up to a bulb in a Christmas tree. You're like this, and funny faces, and I could see glitter dripping down on you. I thought that whoever was above me, they stored Christmas stuff up there, and this glitter was falling on me. But they're giving me a shot of something every 3-4 hours, and find a good little Filipino doctor come in, neuro guy. He doesn't cut, but he's a neuro specialist. And I said, man, I don't go against Jesus, but I think he's failed me on this one. Oh, no, Jesus ain't failed you on it, man. He says, you're having problems because of the infection. I'm going to give you this and that. One of them was Seroquel. I took that. It was like I was out of it. The next day I woke up, and I couldn't use my arms. They were hurting like hell. My chest muscles were hurting. I was like a coat rack. I said this in another video, so I won't bore you with it, but I'm trying to tell you what I was, before I even got Morgellons, I was going into this. I went and got a lap band surgery. Lost 80 pounds. Awesome. I was on the road. I'm thinking, it doesn't matter. When people get sick enough, some people will be like an animal that gets caught in a trap. They'll chew their leg off and take off running with what they got left. And that's what I've been doing for the last 10, 12 years, taking off running. But I keep God with me. I said, God, I always think about that story about Job. I don't think God's testing me or anything, but I got to realize if I believe in a God, a high God, there's got to be some kind of lower power here. It's like, when these things happen to us, it's like going off in a minefield. You know what I mean? We're in Satan's domain. You'll hear the story. Yeah, I knew that guy. He was a perfectly good Christian, didn't drink, nice and that, and he got killed on the highway coming home from work. God doesn't do that stuff. As far as I know, he doesn't. I'm sure he's got the ability, but I try to tell anybody about death and stuff that, God heals. Jesus come here to heal. I decided too when I made this channel, I wasn't going to preach. I got a Bible right in the corner that I used for many years. The reason I don't pull it out because a couple people made me feel bad about what I was using. It's the new King James Version. It's easier for people to understand. And oh man, that stuff watered down. 63 guys thought they, whatever. But I had a Mormon guy tell me he knew a lot about Bibles. He said, man, the King James Version's been written so many times that they've got stuff in there they've taken out. Like, did you know the Israelites, he gave me a quote, used to put excrement on their own bread so that their enemies wouldn't eat it? I said, no, he showed me it. So things have been changed. I was making an effort to learn about Jesus Christ. I was going to church. I got all my family baptized at a Wesleyan church. It's type like Methodist. It was pretty dry religion. I later kind of got some Pentecostal roots, but My youngest boy, there's such a, he's 22, and my next number 2 boy is like 34 now. He never got baptized, and I think he's saved. I ask him stuff, and he goes, oh yeah. Okay, that's what I had going in. Plus, high blood pressure. The diabetes too that I acquired prior to losing the weight went away. I didn't need shots. I didn't need medicine. Just taking that 80 pounds off leveled that out. My blood pressure medicines, I didn't need as much. And I know it's going to be real easy for somebody to say, hey, quit taking any of them medicines. They're killing you. But I've been taking them so long, like I got AFibs. If I quit taking that AFib medicine that regulates my heart, what's going to do it? It's going to have to be Jesus Christ, and it just hasn't happened yet. And his time, if I don't get it here, I'll get it when we get to heaven, But I got to keep taking off and running with whatever I have left. So many people I see coming into them forums, and first thing is they're scared. Totally understandable. The next thing is you can see they're thinking it's not proper. What I recommend is if you do go to these places and you find somebody that says they're healed or they want to help you, let them help you. That Wayne, it helped me. Oh my God. Then I run into a Navy SEAL from Louisiana. Claims he's healed, other than he's got a little bit of it in his knuckle. I know what he means by having a little bit of it because all my joints hurt. He said he used to drink colloidal silver like water. And I said, well, man, what finally rubbed it out? He said, I had a friend that was a nurse. They come over on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and they gave me colloidal silver in my veins. If I could find somebody to do that for me right now, I would not have any fear of doing it. What I know about antibiotics and stuff now, you got to go to the natural route. I was on antibiotics for a year. It may have helped some, but I think it gave me leaky gut syndrome, and it does other stuff to you. So I'm going natural, If any way I can help you, let me know. My email's on that thing about, I'm still learning how to make stuff on YouTube. But any of you that are out reading my videos or watching my videos or other people's videos, that means you're taking off, and running with what you got. You're not laying back, going to a Facebook thing on Morgellons and waiting and just reading through everything. Cure. And then you don't leave no messages there. You don't say nothing, then you leave, But I'm going to continue on here. I haven't scripted anything out because I want it to just come natural. Whatever's flowing out of me, I'd like to believe that the Lord's telling me, like, hey, man, you just got to be on here and tell it like you see it, Tell something that you can help people with. Try to have patience. I'm going to stop because it's 18 minutes. I honestly don't know how long I can tape on here. I'm getting a little long-winded, but if you like this video, I hope so. I'm going to keep working on making them, and I ask God to bless every one of you. And if you've made it to here, my channel, or Richie from Boston's, I can see you're already blessed. So thank you for watching me today.